Hey, everybody, and welcome back. It is now time for my top 10 in college football going into week 10. Um, some things have changed, others have not. Like the number one team in the nation, in my mind, is still the Georgia Bulldogs. 8-0. All these teams are scoring 40 plus points a game except one. And all the defense is scoring less or giving up less than 28, but Georgia leads them all, giving up only 11. Um, Brock Bowers, holy cow, is he stoppable? It doesn't look like it to me. He does it all, doesn't he? They beat down Florida 42-20 this past weekend. Yesterday, I'm filming this on Sunday, and they're my number one team still. Their next opponent is Tennessee at home, which is going to be a clash of number one versus number two. The AP came out earlier today, and Tennessee is ranked number two. I have Ohio State at number two still, 8-0, 49 points per game, 17 given up. Them receivers and that quarterback are on a different wavelength. They're on the same wavelength, but just a better one than everybody else. It's unbelievable what they can do. The running game's still struggling a little bit, but the defense shined. Turnovers. I mean, they gave up yards, but key turnovers in situations that Toluwami guy, number 44 for the defense for Ohio State, looks amazing as well. Their next game is at Northwestern. Should be a win. A lot of these teams have road games this week. Tennessee is my number three team, 8-0, 49 points a game as well. They lead the nation in yards per game as well at 553. They're giving up 21 points per game, though, and 394 defensive yards per game still, even after that amazing beatdown of Kentucky. It's the H&H show, right? Hooker and Hyatt, that connection is unreal. 5 receptions for 100 and just almost 200 yards, and I think he had 2 or 3 touchdowns too. Just incredible performance by that offense, but that defense does need some work. They did show signs of improvement versus Kentucky. They are at Georgia, as I stated previously. Michigan is number 4 now, 8-0, 41 points per game, 12 points given up, and they allow the least amount of yards on this of these teams on this list. They beat Michigan State 29-7. A lot of points left off the scoreboard. They had gotten to the red zone like 4 or 5 times and kicked 5 field goals. It was pretty sad. They were moving the ball up and down in between the 20s. That has to get much better. The defense is elite. Michigan is at Rutgers this weekend. Should be a win. Alabama is number 5 this week, 7-1, 43 points per game, 17 given up. And they had a bye this past week, but they are at LSU this weekend, who is on a resurgence lately. So that should be a pretty interesting game. Clemson is number 6, 8-0. They score the least amount of points of any of these 10 teams, 37 points per game. They get the least amount of offensive yards of any of these 10 teams, 422. The defense is kind of average too, 20 points per game given up and 333 yards given up. So they're just kind of ho-hum. The quarterback situation, who knows, but that team is overall worthy of the number 6 spot, especially including their wins. You know, they got good wins over Wake Forest, NC State, Florida State's looking okay, Syracuse. They had a bye last week. They are at Notre Dame this week, though. I imagine that to be a great game. Just because I have Clemson 6 right here doesn't mean I can't think that Notre Dame could win this game, because I think they can, and I think they will, actually. Number 7 is TCU, 8-0. They are scoring 44 points per game, giving up 27. and they're giving up the most yards per game of these 10 teams at 403. They beat West Virginia 41-31 at West Virginia. I thought that might be a trap game. Well, not really a trap game, but a tough road game for them, and it was, but they pulled through. So they're number 7. They have Texas Tech at home coming up this weekend. Oregon is number 8, 7-1. They're scoring 42 points per game, and they are giving up the most points per game of these 10 teams, 28. But they're getting 526 yards per game and giving up 386. They beat Cal on the road yesterday, 42-24. They are at Colorado this weekend, so that should be no problem for them. And the next two teams are very similar. UCLA is 7-1. They are scoring 40 points per game, giving up 24. And the yards per game is 501. Defensive yards per game, 361. They beat Stanford 38-13. They are at Arizona State this weekend, and the team they're similar with is USC, and they will play each other, I believe, at the end of the season, the last game. But USC is getting 41 points per game to UCLA's 40. They're both giving up 24. USC is 7 yards per game lower than UCLA at 494. But here's the difference. This is why UCLA is ahead, not to mention the wins that they have and the losses that they have. But 40-point difference in defensive yards per game. UCLA is at 361. USC is at 402. That's the difference. But like I said, they will play each other. USC beat Arizona 45-37. Arizona. That defense has to get a lot better if they want to move up and win some of these games. They play UCLA, like I said, and I think they play Oregon as well. So maybe not, but they have Cal coming up this weekend at home. So there's a top 10. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Tennessee. Number 4, Michigan. Number 5, Alabama. Number 6, Clemson. Number 7, TCU. Number 8, Oregon. And number 9, UCLA. Number 10, USC. The Pac-12 is inching up there. 3 one-loss teams there on the tail end of my top 10, and they have opportunities. But there is going to be a couple of great games that I can't wait for. Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama, LSU this weekend is going to be fun. There you have it. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe, as always, and we'll see you on the next video, probably a Michigan at Rutgers preview. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.